I'm doing all right. You ready for roll call? It's 10 o'clock. Roll call. Roll call. Councilmember Thomas.
Present.
Councilmember Giarrusso.
Here.
Councilmember Harris. Councilmember King. Councilmember Green. We have 3 members. We have a quorum.
Thank you for the official roll call. Move approval of the minutes from the June 25th, 2025 meeting. Moved by the chair. Seconded by Councilmember Giarrusso. All in favor? Ayes have. The minutes are approved. Ms. Curran, next item on the agenda.
We have a set of contracts to consider pursuant to Council Rule 57. The first one is Amendment Number 10 to the agreement with HNTB for professional engineering, design, construction, administration, and resident inspection services for public works projects. This contract or amendment extends the term a year and reduces the maximum compensation payable.
This is a one-year extension. Any explanation needed or wanted to be given? Any questions from members of the committee? No questions from members of the committee?
We have one online comment.
Online comment, please.
This is from Michelle Din. She says, please explain why you're decreasing budgets for public works in New Orleans and how they'll actually help. I think I recall that the contract, if this is for reducing the maximum compensation, I think they had rearranged what they were contracting for, and so there were less services.
Yeah, I don't think this is an effort to reduce public works. If nothing else, we're looking for people to fill positions to beef up that department, hopefully at some point in the future. Mr. Hathaway.
Yeah, I'd just like to add that the reason the contract is being reduced, the compensation, is because the first project listed as part of this contract was Marconi Drive, and the fee needed in order to do the inspection was less than what was allocated. So all we were doing was taking that excess funds and putting it back in the general fund.
Thank you. Once again, it was duly noted, properly moved in second. I think moved by the chair, second by Councilmember Harris. All in favor? Moved by Councilmember Giarrusso, seconded by the chair. Ayes have it, so ordered. Next item on the agenda.
We have Amendment Number 3 to the agreement with Legacy Professional Services for the streetlight system management to extend the term for 60 days.
Mr. Hathaway, there's a looming question as it relates to this. I know it's procedural. Why 60 days? I think this is the first 60-day extension that I've seen.
Yes, that I'm aware of too. What was happening was the contract was going to expire in July, and the department's intention was not to extend the contract for the final year. The operation was being taken in-house so that we could use our own staff in order to manage the streetlight program and use our new 311 system and our new asset management to accomplish that. And so the vendor requested a meeting with the mayor, and so we ended up having a meeting with her and the vendor, and it was decided that instead of cutting them off at the term of the contract, we would extend it 60 days so that they could handle some in-house rearrangement of staff and continue to work with us.
Okay, thank you. All right. Moved by me. Excuse me, guys. Don't eat popcorn in the morning. Second by Councilmember Giarrusso. All in favor? 3 yeas, no nays, and the item is approved to be forwarded to the council. This current next item on the agenda.
We have streetlight outages. The Department of Public Works is here to discuss ongoing issues with outages, including in neighborhoods and along the interstate.
Mr. Hathaway, assume the position at the table. I know we have some discussion here. Is there any update you want to give us on outages in communities before any of my colleagues have questions?
Yes, we'd just like to give a little background of what's been going on. The contract has gone into a deficit, and we're working to eliminate that deficit right now. There's been some funding changes with the IMF funds being fully moved over to the Sewage and Water Board, so that affected the streetlight management contract. That's why we were not able to extend it. And so we're taking that work in-house now. Like I said a minute ago, we're using the new 311 system and also the asset management system to manage that. We're using our in-house inspectors to do the nighttime inspections, and now that we've been able to put together enough funds in order to pay off the deficit and to fund the program through the end of the year, we'll be meeting with the contractor, All-Star, either later this week or early next week, and get them back up to 2 to 3 crews per day out on the street handling routine maintenance and other repairs. At this time, they've only been able to do emergency repairs or knockdowns as called in by the NOPD.
Councilman Giarrusso, before you ask a question, I hope you don't mind, I'd like you to explain for people who are watching the IMF funds, the fact that they've been moved and what that means.
It's approximately $5 million goes or had been going to the Department of Public Works in the past, which was 25% of the fees that were collected through the Infrastructure Maintenance Fund. And with those funds moving to the Sewage and Water Board, the things that they paid for, personnel, equipment, contracts, would have to be absorbed by the general fund or other
And
funding
they're moving
sources.
to the Sewage and Water Board because of what reason?
For the new CEA agreement, so that the Sewage and Water Board would maintain the entire drainage system, including the minor system, which is what DPW used to maintain.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Giarrusso, hope you don't mind. I just wanted him to explain. Councilman Giarrusso.
But I guess, I mean, I put this in an email to Lenitra last week. The city is also withholding a second $5 million payment to Sewage and Water Board too. So that is available funds. And I guess, Rick and Shannon, I'm really not trying to belabor this, but like sanitation, people getting their trash picked up, lights being fixed, you know, grass being cut are kind of like the highest orders. Like, we can't get into deficit. We just can't. And I mean, I'm just saying this out loud for every department, and I see IGR here. I don't care what happens between the mayor and the council and everything else, but when it comes to people, we can't be in a position to be like they're being hurt because somebody's afraid to talk to somebody else. And I'm not saying that you are, but I'm saying had this been brought to our attention earlier, I think we would have worked with whatever needed to be done to make sure funds were there or talk about other resources, because as I said a million times, I don't expect people to do more with less, but if we don't know, we can't help you. And I realize you all work for the administration and not for the council, but I think at the end of the day, we work for the people. And this is one of those issues where, you know, it's not like striping that didn't get done on this little corridor that's super well lit and it can wait another month or two. This is the type of stuff that is just mission critical. Thank you.
Councilmember Harris.
Yeah, I mean, just to belabor the point, I just read an article by Malcolm Gladwell who talked about how streetlights, and we know this can prevent crime. And so we need to make sure that it is a priority to get these streetlights back up and running. I can tell you that we've had, in 2024, we had 824 issues with DPW, and the most reported issue to my office involving DPW was 254 streetlight outages in neighborhoods across District B. So I don't know what the current total is. I don't know how many of those 254 have been repaired, but I know that we continue to report them to you. And on that note, I know that, Shannon, you had an exchange with Matt recently because he was trying to get information from DPW about various issues involving street repairs, street lights, et cetera, and I know that you guys are short-staffed. I get that. However, when people, constituents, cannot get a call back from DPW or an email reply from DPW, where do they go? They come to us. They come to Matthew. They email me personally. They stop me in the grocery store to ask about streetlights and road work, et cetera, et cetera. So we are trying to help you when we are communicating with you and your team about what is the status, because we are getting hounded by constituents about the status of streets, streetlights, all the things that DPW is in charge of. So I want to put that out there to know that we're not trying to embarrass y'all. We're not trying to create any chaos or anything. What we're trying to do is help you so that we can understand the status of a project or status of something so that we can relay that to constituents. Because as Councilmember Giarrusso said, as Councilmember Thomas has always said, we all work for the people, right? And so the more that we can get information from your team and the more communication that we can have, the better that we can communicate to the constituents who literally every single day are emailing Matt and myself about various issues in District B that need to be repaired. So I'm putting that out there to say we're all working together. What money you need to make this a safer city, I'm sure that we can all try to figure it out. But streetlights are increasingly important as we are moving forward. So just know that, and just know that we're here to help and not harm.
Thank you, council member.
Guys, what you just heard from both of my colleagues, I think is reflected, if not everyone, most of us who are up here. Councilmember Giarrusso has consistently talked about not just his final time, but in terms of legacy and service. And even though he's not running for office again, he wants the best service delivered to the people of this city, no matter what it is, no matter what level it is. Councilmember Harris just expressed the fact that even though this is the end of an administration, it should not be the end of quality service. And I'm not trying to cast aspersion and say people are doing it, but there's a tendency, and some of us have been around to see it before, for folk to kind of take lax, maybe not be as committed. And I'm not saying that's representative of the people here, but I would hope that, especially in an area of uncertainty, one thing you could be certain about is that you're doing your job 110%, that those little things, because we have seen, and Councilmember Harris alluded to it, there were some things that were done in the last couple of years that don't seem to be done now, from grass cutting, to trash, to certain lights that were important that were being replaced. Now they're out again. So in the public side, they take a look at it and they say, well, hold on a second. You know, why can't we have the same level of urgency, the same level of work ethic that we had a year ago, that we had a year and a half ago? And I would hope that there are conversations within the administration that even on the way out, and folk really don't know what that means, that not only your best effort, your best foot forward, that people would still give the same level of effort. And I will say this, that I look at some things and I'm like, well, hold on a second. It seemed to be easier to get this done, this lot cut here. I look at some of these lots, Councilmember Harris, where they're forests, where they used to at least cut 3 or 4 feet inward so that the grass and shrubs weren't growing out in the street. Why did they ever stop doing that? Those lights that you guys had replaced some time ago, man, they made a major difference. I guess I'm giving commentary more than anything, but you know, Rick, you've been around to see a bunch of, and I don't question what this city means to you and what you put into it. But the public now is talking to us and saying, hey, hold on a second. You know, in spite of some of the challenges here, we thought we had gotten some stuff right, and now why are we laxing just because it's an outgoing political season and maybe another incoming for some other folk? And the people don't deserve that. They deserve our best. Who's the CAO now? Is Montano still a CAO?
Montano this week. Joe takes over on the 2nd.
Who does?
Joe Threat.
Joe Threat takes over on the 2nd.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't want to get too deep into this conversation, but we expect, my father always said, you should give your best when you're not sure about what's next. And I just think we need to see the same kind of effort here. And for folk, I value our employees. I value the people who put it on the line. But there's some things that are missing right now that the public doesn't deserve.
We agree.
Councilmember King, any questions? Dominique, I missed anything on lighting? Any online comments?
There's one.
Yeah.
This is from Clifford Dugar. He says lights on I-10 between Elysian Fields and Louisa Drive. I think he means to say haven't been working in months.
Yeah, and that's a spot where they were on for a while. If I remember, I think Councilmember Green might have been out there in the bucket truck putting up lights. And all of a sudden now they're darker. They're dark again.
Mr. Dugar also says Franklin Avenue streets are deplorable. Louisa Drive between Chef and Old Gentilly Road next to Goodyear Street is sinking and needs resurfacing.
There's a lighting contractor that does the interstate and major thoroughfares. Is that the same person who does the neighborhoods?
Yes, it is.
Because in Lake Willow now, there are a couple of lights that I didn't know how important they were. That one off on Thornley, man, just because it's out now, and our neighbors stopped putting on their lights because it was attracting bugs and termites. So it's pitch black. Pitch black. And it would make a huge difference to that block, those couple blocks, if that light on Thornley, right in the circle, if it was operable again.
We'll inspect.
Okay, thank you. Any cards from folk in the community? Any other thing to come before the council? Motion to adjourn? Moved by the chair, seconded by everybody else. Councilmember Jeruso, all in favor? Meeting's adjourned. Guys, bless everybody. Have a great day.